Good evening. Welcome. Our service is just about to begin, so if you can find your seats and get ready for a wonderful evening. My name is Patricia Matthews. I'm one of the priests here at St. Mark's, and on behalf of the people of St. Mark's, I want to welcome you into this holy space. I want to say thanks to everyone who made this evening possible, and thank you to everyone that came and chose to attend this, to say your prayers here together. We're very, very excited that you are all here, and we hope that this evening gives rest to your soul and gives us all strength for our common journey together. Enjoy.
Tequila. Shevarim. Teruah. Tequila Gerola.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I start in the name of God, the most loving and infinitely compassionate. Good evening and welcome to the 11th annual Love Thy Neighbor service sponsored by Arkansas House of Prayer and the Interfaith Center. My name is Sophia Saeed and I am the Executive Director of the Interfaith Center. Our mission is to reduce the fear and hatred among world religions, and we do that by educating people about world religions, by promoting interfaith dialogue, by providing meaningful relationship-building opportunities, and teaching interfaith cooperation skills. So this event, Love Thy Neighbor, we started it almost 11 years ago in an effort to bring people from different religions under one roof, like this, and plant the seeds of loving your neighbor, irrespective of how different your neighbor might look like or dress like. And now, several years later, those seeds have blossomed not only into this beautiful service that we are having tonight, but also into this interfaith congregation that we all look forward to being with every year, no matter what religion we belong to, no matter where we are in our spiritual journey. We come together as one people of many different faiths who are ready to celebrate our commonalities, cherish our differences, grateful for the diversity that lies within, and most important, hopeful for our future together. This year, our theme of this event is Sowing the Seeds of Promise. Now, seeds are potential for growth. They are potential for birthing new ideas, new possibilities, and new realities. We at the Interfaith Center has had so many opportunities to plant such seeds, individually in the hearts of people, and also collectively in the consciousness of our community. The seeds that we have been planting for the last 10 years, they carry stories within them. Stories of radical compassion. For example, when we brought faith leaders from different religions together for a very self-critical analysis of how we have used our own scripture to marginalize others, and what needs to be done within ourselves to bring the change and to create inclusive communities. Stories of unconditional love. For example, when a Jewish and a Christian congregation holds hands together to take care of a Muslim refugee family of 14 that traveled across the globe in this land, which is the most alien place to them. And then they were housed in the congregation, being taken care of by Christians and Jews, day in and day out, who have been helping them adjust and carve a new life for them here in this country. Stories of infinite hope. Like when the 56 children from our friendship camp, Jewish, Christian, Muslim children, children from no faith, they come together to write letters of hope to kids in Syria who have lost their parents in the war. And tell them that you are not alone, we are here for you, we are here with you. And those letters are carried by our board member to Syria to be delivered to those orphanages, to give them the comfort that they desperately need, these kids. Such are the stories of interfaith love that we have created through our programs at the Interfaith Center, and the programs which are rooted in and nurtured by the wisdom of our religious traditions. So today I invite you all to join us in our work and help us continue to plant these seeds of promise and be a part of this beautiful journey with us. I hope that as you go back and plant these seeds which have been handed to you when you walked in, you will be reminded of today's service, the wisdom, the music, and the prayers that you witnessed today, and the many expressions of interfaith love that is created through our programs. Enjoy the service. Peace, salam, and shalom.
choir is filing off, and our next presenter is coming up. I want to welcome you. My name's John Willis. I'm one of the co-musical directors for the evening. If you're interested in joining us in the Interfaith Choir, please see me after the service. I'll come and find you. So next, I'd like to welcome Eileen to the stage, who's going to share a story with us from Judaism.
The Honi story is a classic tale taken from the Talmud, and it focuses on the importance of taking care of the world for those who come after us. It's often heard at the time of Tu B'Shvat, a holiday in the spring, sort of Jewish Arbor Day, a time when spring appears in Israel with buds and blossoms and the arrival of new fruits. We say blessings for many occasions and times of the day, and at Tu B'Shvat, we especially partake of a variety of new fruits with blessings of gratitude. Honi the Wise One, who was also known as Honi the Circle Maker, was drawing a circle, and stepping inside of it, he would recite special prayers for rain. Sometimes he would even argue and plead with God during a drought, and the rains would come. He was indeed a miracle maker. As wise as he was, Honi sometimes saw something that puzzled him. Then he would ask questions so he could unravel the mystery. As happened one day, Honi the circle maker was walking on the road and saw a man planting a carob tree. Honi stopped and asked the man, "How long will it take for that tree to bear fruit?" The man calmly and patiently replied, 70 years. Honi stopped and thought, and then Honi looked at the man again. "And do you think you will live another 70 years to eat the fruit of this tree?" The man answered, "Perhaps not. However, when I was born into this world, I found many carob trees planted by my ancestors. Just as they planted for me, I will plant for them. I am planting trees for my children and grandchildren and all of those who come after me, so they will be able to eat the fruit of these trees." This story makes so much sense for this Love Thy Neighbor event with this year's theme of sowing seeds of promise. Each one of us is committed to making the world a better place, full of peace and promise. We plant now so those who come after us can and will reap the benefits of our work, of our planning, and will enjoy the fruits of our labor and commitments.
Hello, testing. 1, 2, 3, hello, hello, check. Namaste, one and all. I am proud to be part of this Love Thy Neighbor event, where we plant the seeds and try to bring diversity. So the song that I'll be singing today is a beautiful melody called Satyam Shivam Sundaram. सत्य ही शिव है, शिव ही सुंदर है। जागो उठ कर देखो, जीवन जो तुजागर है। सत्यम शिवम सुंदरम, सत्यम शिवम सुंदरम, सत्यम शिवम सुंदरम, सुंदरम। सत्यम शिवम सुंदरम, सत्यम शिवम सुंदरम, सुंदरम, सुंदरम। सत्यम शिवम सुंदरम, सत्यम शिवम सुंदरम। Thank you very much.
Good evening. When we talk about love, one of the challenges that surfaces is the subjectiveness through which we can sometimes identify words and terms, not necessarily knowing that we're even doing that. That we become subservient to language. We draw meaning from things through the names of things. That if I said to you microphone, if I said to you chair, you likely as a group, as distinct as you are, would know exactly what it is that is being discussed. I don't have to give you verbose definition to be able to identify what it is that certain things we all have a common understanding of. No one says, can you hand me the mobile apparatus that connects me to a cellular network of millions of people around the world? Give me my cell phone, you know what I'm talking about. But if I say to you words like compassion or mercy, if I say to you words like brother or sister, if I say to you a word like neighbor or friend, if I say to you a word like love, the definition doesn't always come with such a common understanding as other words do. The Arabic language is pretty unique in the way that it is structured. Words have common root letters that they build upon. So for example, the word Muslim, Islam, Salam, they all have the root letters Salama, which denotes a sense of peace. You can see the thread that's there. One of the ways to say love in Arabic is hub, muhabba. And a word that has the same root letters as this word mahabba is the word for seed in Arabic, habba. And the relationship between a seed and love is something that you can reflect and ponder upon in so many ways. That a seed, when you plant it, it doesn't just give you a seed back. It gives you so much more. That's what love does. That when that flower is planted, that tree is planted, it's not planted with any type of qualification or condition. Regardless of your race, your culture, your ethnicity, your class, you can take benefit from the scent of the most beautiful of flowers in this world. They give unconditionally. That's what love is supposed to be like. You want to think about this in a conversation such as the one we're having tonight, because it becomes a necessity to be introspective on some of these concepts. How I see others doesn't necessarily tell me about who they are, but how I see others tells me a lot about myself. And it creates an opportunity for me to now think about what kind of love is it that I'm actually putting into the world. And right now, the world needs a lot more love to be interjected into it than arguably any other time we could think of. That there's so many reasons as to why people do not come together in the best of ways. And you want to catalyze what it is that brings you here in this moment tonight, encapsulate it in something that is strategic and meaningful, and put it out into a world where you can recognize it only takes a little bit of light to dispel real darkness. But I start with the world within me in order to understand the world around me a little bit better. Who would you qualify as being an actual neighbor to you? Who is it that gets to benefit from your love without qualification or condition? Our organs of sensory perception, they're not limited to the eyes that we see with, or the hands that we touch with, the tongues that we taste with, the ears that we hear with, even the minds that we think with. But within each of us, there beats a heart that synthesizes all of the information that we process and casts now for us perspective that gives us insight, not just on what we perceive, but can tell me so much about what's going on in here within me. Do you get what I'm saying? I'll give you an example. Our young sister came up here and sang so beautifully. And when she was led arm in arm up the way, it reminded me of a time I went to speak at MIT some years ago in Massachusetts. There was a large crowd, about 400 or 500 people in the audience. And at the end of it, people came up. That was so inspirational, very charismatic. There was a young woman who then approached me and she said, "My sister's a big fan of yours. Can I introduce her to you?" And I said, "Sure, of course." And then she too led her sister arm in arm the entire way to where I was standing, because her sister was blind, she couldn't see. We had a conversation for a few moments, and as we wrapped up, this young woman who was blind, she said to me, "You know, I thought you'd be a lot taller." And I said to her, "What?" And she said, "Your voice, it's not coming from up here, it's coming from down here." And I said, "Oh." And I had taken some of my students from New York University with me on this talk that I was giving. And one of them said to me, "Wow, isn't that amazing? She's blind and she can tell how short you are." And so outside I said to him, "Yeah, it's so remarkable." But inside I was thinking, man, how short am I? A blind woman just told me I'm short. She didn't need eyes to see. Do you understand? And sometimes we become so limited in perspective because all it is that we are engaging in what is most apparent, what is most simplistic. In the Islamic tradition, we have an apocalyptic genre of narrations, eschatological, end of times. And one of the narrations in our tradition, it teaches us that if the end of time is upon you and you are planting a seed, and you know it's upon you, you still go ahead and plant it. Don't keep yourself from doing the good that you're able to do. There's a lot of opportunity to make it now with conditions, qualifications. And we transition now the mindset that exists in this room collectively. You all came here for a reason. What we need to be able to do now is have that be something that emanates into parts of society that deeply impacts so many of our neighbors in the ways that they live, that nobody should be made to live that way, especially just because they are different. I used to work as a chaplain for the New York City Police Department. I did it for 11 years. I started working there when I was 24. It's a very military-esque institution, and chaplains go in with the rank appointed of an inspector, one rank below a one-star chief, fairly high rank. And one of the things that we would do as police chaplains every year is attend the Ground Zero Memorial Service on September 11th at the Ground Zero site. We start out by having breakfast at police headquarters with family members who lost loved ones on that day. We then take a bus down to the Ground Zero site and participate in the memorial. On the 9th anniversary of the attacks, then Vice President Joe Biden was part of the memorial service. If you've ever been to New York City or you've seen images of the current memorial structure, it was still under construction at that time. And so the ceremony was a little bit more closed off. There's a stage where the program took place upon. In front of the stage, a VIP area for family members, celebrities, city officials, and others. Behind us was a press pit for the media to come in view, and behind them was an area for the public to partake. And on that day, we're waiting for the ceremony to get started. I'm in a police uniform, an inspector's uniform. I still have my beard, I have my head covered. And while we're waiting and I'm mingling with people, 3 men approach me wearing suits saying that Secret Service has spotted you from the top of a building. They want us to check your credentials just in case. I said, just in case what? And they said, we're sorry that we're doing this to you. And I said, then why are you doing it? And to understand what they question in that moment is not merely my physical presence at that location, but the entire emotional validity that I have attached to it. That I was an undergrad at New York University on September 11th in 2001. I stood in the middle of our campus at NYU, a park called Washington Square, with about 10 or 12,000 of my classmates as we watched the second plane fly into the towers. As young Muslim students, we faced a lot of things at that time, and there wasn't institutionalized Islamic center that we have today. We had to just figure it out. Backlash, violence. That same day, a young woman tried to push me down a staircase. Microphones from media all over the world were put into our faces as we were arguably the closest Muslim community to the ground zero site, and everybody now was imposing narrative upon us that stripped us of our identity and said, you have to represent 2 billion. We had to do what we had to do. I stood at funerals of people of my faith. A young man that I used to coach in soccer growing up, his father, who was a deeply adherent, committed individual to gatherings like this, was one of the people we lost on September 11th. He's a Muslim man. His name is Tariq Amanullah, and God grant him peace. People like him and people of other walks of life who I knew, whose funerals I stood at as well. So much of the work that I do until today is informed by the atrocities of that day. And in that moment, those men are questioning the validity of all of it. And the frustrating thing isn't that I'm going through it alone, but what could I really do about it? That if I was to say anything in return, it would likely make the circumstance that much worse for me. And so where I couldn't speak, and there was hundreds of people standing and watching and saying nothing, there was a mother standing next to me who lost her son on September 11th, who said to these men that what you are doing right now is more dishonoring to the memory of our loved ones that we lost on that day than anything else. That here this young man is standing with us in our moment of need, and you're making it seem as if he is doing something wrong just because he is Muslim. And as easily as they had taken the validation away, she brought it right back. I want you to think about this in a few different frames. One, somebody sitting somewhere concocted a policy that trickled down to these men that said, if you see somebody that looks like this, look at them again. I'm in a police uniform, an inspector's uniform, and even if I wasn't, it still wouldn't be okay. The realities that many of our neighbors face day to day, based off of their standing, unapologetic in their identity, being simply who it is that God intended them to be, that bears now upon them a burden of iniquitous experience simply because of the color of their skin, their country of origin, their cultural heritage. It's something that our love has to be strategic about how we counter. The second thing that I would say to you is that if I have to go through it all over again, I definitely would. Because for certain battles to be won, those battles have to take place in the first place. I might be the only person of my community that is standing in places of people who are not just unfamiliar, but they have deep detestation for me. But if my standing is what will yield understanding, if what it is that I experience will allow for something later to be ensured that nobody goes through it, and that's what I'm going to do. And I can say this to you as somebody who I've shared stages like this with the Pope and the Dalai Lama. I've been on the cover of Newsweek magazine, interviewed by Katie Couric, Stephen Colbert, engaged government at every level you can imagine, city, state, federal, as well as globally, interacted with different peoples who are heads of their respective countries. I've still had the FBI visit me in my house. And after a few times of them coming and knocking, I've said, "What do you really want from me?" They say, "You're just too good to be true. Know that we're watching you." The realities of being detained, profiled, surveilled, I could tell you in deep detail. I still couldn't tell you what it's like for our black brothers and sisters to live in this country. But if I have to keep going through it, I'm going to keep going through it. You might be the only one that is standing when everyone else is sitting. You might be the only one that is speaking when everyone else is silent. But when you have real love, it can give you unbounded courage. That can allow for you to recognize your potential in ways that you couldn't even imagine. The most important thing that I would say to you is that when you think about somebody who's a good person, somebody who gets it, you don't want to think about somebody wretched like me. You want to think about that mother who on that day leveraged her power and her privilege for somebody who was underserved and underprivileged simply because it was the right thing to do. That who in their right mind is going to say something to a mother who lost her son on September 11th while she's standing at the Ground Zero site on September 11th? Nobody. And she knew it. She wasn't the only one that could do what she did, but she was the only one that spoke. That's real love. When you do it, knowing you won't get anything in return. That's real love. When you do it, even when it's inconvenient. You could do it even when no one else is doing it. It's real love. When you can do it, and still, had you not, you would have gotten away with it. It's been so beautiful to share moments with you all, with your leadership. As the pandemic winds itself down, there's opportunity now in abundance to be a reason as to why people have hope in this world, and not the reason as to why people dread it. You spend some time in each other's company and allow for yourself to look deeply within and just start and say where and how others might see this world in the myopic ways that they do. I'm going to see it differently. And I'm going to connect from heart to heart to heart and change as many as I can as I change myself, so that when I leave from this place, I would have done as best as I could to have left it a little bit better than how it was that I found it. If any of you are ever in New York City and I can do anything for you at all, please let me know. It would be my honor to return even a portion of the hospitality that I've received in the hours that I've been here in Little Rock. But if this is the only time that we are meant to be together, then I pray that we are all gathered together again in the best of places in the world beyond this one. But you all will be in my continued prayers. I ask that you do the same if you can remember me in yours. And I pray that the good work that you do is something that continues to impact hearts across this country and in the world. But it's something that is so needed, and I'm so grateful that you all are standing up and rising to that occasion. Thank you so much.
Everything must change. Nothing stays the same. Everyone will change. No one stays the same. The young become the old, and mysteries do unfold. 'Cause that's the way of time. Nothing and no one goes unchanged. There are not many things in life you can be sure of, except rain comes from the clouds, sun lights up the sky, and hummingbirds do fly. Winter turns to spring. A wounded heart will heal, but never much too soon. Yes, everything will change. The young become the old, and mysteries do unfold. 'Cause that's the way of time. Nothing and no one goes unchanged. There are not many things in life you can be sure of, except you can be sure of, yeah. Except rain comes from the clouds, sun lights up the sky, hummingbirds, they do fly. Oh, rain comes from the clouds, sun lights up the sky, and hummingbirds, they fly. Oh, no one stays the no, 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 no. Everything must change. Rain comes from the clouds, sun lights up the sky, and hummingbirds and music makes me cry.
Good evening. My name is Lewis Smith, and I'm the administrator for the Interfaith Center. You might have noticed that in your brochure, our next guest is Mr. Judd Martindale. Unfortunately, Mr. Martindale cannot join us tonight, but we still wished to share with you the wisdom of indigenous and folk religions from around the world. During a time of war and ecological collapse, the Oglala chief, Crazy Horse, offered this prophecy to his people, commonly known as the prophecy of the seventh generation. The people shall rise again, and it shall be a blessing for a sick world, a world filled with broken promises, selfishness, and separations, a world longing for light again. There will be those among us who will carry knowledge and understanding of unity among all living things, and the young ones will come to those of my people and ask for this wisdom. I see a time of 7 generations when all the colors of mankind will gather under the sacred tree of life, and the whole earth will become one circle again.
Good evening. The Arkansas House of Prayer is an interfaith haven set apart in nature, dedicated to contemplative prayer, meditation, and quiet, where all are welcome. As the sister organization to the Interfaith Center, we are grateful to co-sponsor this interfaith prayer service for very good reasons. Perhaps Mother Teresa said it best from her wisdom when she explained that the fruit of silence is prayer. The fruit of prayer, faith. The fruit of faith is love. The fruit of love is service. And the fruit of service is peace. The House of Prayer supports the mission of the Interfaith Center by providing an exquisite space for silence and by offering programs that encourage and nurture the silence necessary for the seeds of promise to grow and manifest as deepening prayer, faith, love, service, and peace in our hearts and in this world that God so loves. How grateful we are to each one of you, for by your very presence here this evening, you announce to one another the seed of promise within your own heart. And mysteriously, each of us, by entering silence, will both contribute and receive something sacred for its nurturance. So, I invite you to settle briefly. Close your eyes if you wish, and begin to notice your breathing. take a few intentional deep breaths, making each inhale a little bit deeper and each exhale a little bit slower than the one before. As we enter this silence for just a minute or so, may the seeds of promise grow within us and flower as expansive love and respect for one another, generous service, care for all creation, and a peace that surpasses all understanding. Amen. Thank you all. And as we gently return from this surround sound of silence, we are so pleased to once again welcome the Interfaith Choir to share their beautiful sound of song, a promise, a hymn of promise.
Well, we're together again in person. Sophia said to me a few years ago, Susan, do you realize we have our own congregation? And a couple of years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, somebody came up to me and said, oh, we're back together again. You all are my congregation. I knew I would see you here. We are so grateful to get to be together. Before I make just a few closing comments, I want to remind you that we are having an Interfaith Food Festival thanks to some people that have worked really, really hard on it. And out of respect to COVID, instead of a buffet line, you will find wonderful boxed suppers with foods from around the world. You may eat them inside St. Mark's beautiful room or outside under the portico, or you may take them home. So it's a different food festival, but we get to do it anyway, and we're excited about that. What an evening we have had. I just don't think I could have had any more fun. My heart leapt in my throat. I had goosebumps. I wanted to stand up and shout several times. I'm just so grateful. On behalf of the board and the staff from the Arkansas House of Prayer, and the board and the staff from the Interfaith Center of Arkansas, thank you so much for being here. We thank all of the people that have contributed, the committee that has planned and worked, the people in charge of the music, the people in charge of the food, the sound people, St. Mark's who has welcomed us, musicians, volunteers, donors of every stripe. We are just grateful. When I think about us leaving and going back into the world, and I think about what our imam said in his wonderful talk, part of planting seeds is reflecting on what is our own viewpoint. And one wonderful way to do that is to have some silence as part of everyday life. If I want to plant the same old seeds that I've been planting for 25 years out of my same belief system, I can just run home and make a list and do what I've always done. If I want God to have a hold of me, as they used to say in Mark Tree where I grew up, if I want God to have a hold of me, I'm going to sit in some silence, and I'm going to be transformed not by my rules and my beliefs, but I'm going to be transformed out of that silence. So when you leave here, if you want to be in an ongoing transformational process where the seeds that you plant are hot off the press, current and updated between you and God, just give those seeds a little bit of silence. Now, there are some seeds that we plant that are easy to plant. We have healthy seeds and healthy soil and water and rain, and we plant them and it just blossoms. Now, I think about this brand new Interfaith choir. Yes, they have worked hard, and at the same time, it was John Willis's idea to start the choir. That's a healthy seed. And a whole bunch of people said, we're going to do this thing. This is a brand new choir. And aren't they fabulous? Yes. Yes. So it's a healthy seed planted in rich soil with water and rain and hard work. Then we have other seeds that are nasty and difficult and tough. You know, the lodgepole pine, its seed is coated in resin so that it only can grow after it's been through a nasty forest fire. The forest fire burns away the resin so that that seed can grow. And every person in this room has been through the fire more than once. So we have some seeds that have our name on it, where we have been and are going to go through the fire of transformation to get those seeds planted. Then we have some other seeds that are hidden from us. We don't even know what God is going to do with us and with our community. So there are seeds that we know about that are going to be easy to plant. There are seeds that are going to be difficult. And then there's some hidden, mysterious assignments that God has for us. And we look forward to that and welcome it. And after tonight, we can hold hands even better with each other. The mother from Pondicherry wrote, "May suffering only produce the quickening of the germination of the seeds of love." May suffering only produce the quickening of the germination of the seeds of love. And her colleague and partner, Sri Aurobindo, wrote, "Be grateful for all ordeals, for that is the shortest way to the divine." So tonight we leave with our hearts full, our hopes high, with practical, very specific ideas from our speaker and from the music and from everything of the evening. So we leave here, we're going to plant individual seeds and seeds as a community. Some are going to be easy, some are going to be difficult, and we're going to sit in enough silence to have our consciousness transformed so we are not planting the same old seeds for the next 50 years or however long. We are grateful that you're here. I look forward to our partnerships with you between this community and the House of Prayer and the Interfaith Center and other organizations. May God bless all of us on this wonderful journey. Amen.
Good evening. If you could open your program and find the Universal Prayer and stand if you are able to join me in praying. We are standing in your presence to pray for peace and harmony. We pray for a day when your love envelops the earth. We pray for spirits that unite us are stronger than the forces that divide us. A day when all people are no color, race, or religion. Please grant us compassion to care for all creations, love to keep us strong, and acceptance to reduce hatred. Please guide our hearts through understanding so that we coexist in harmony and universal peace may prevail on the earth. Amen. Thank you so much for coming tonight.
Would you all please take a look in your order of service? The words are printed, they're small, and they're mighty, as are we. So please join me. The choir is around you. You can get your notes from them. Go in peace. Go in peace. Go in kindness. Go in love. Go in faith. And leave the day behind us. Day is done. Go in grace. Let us go into the dark, not afraid and not alone. Let us hope by some good pleasure safely to arrive at home. Let's sing it again to each other. Let go in peace and go in kindness, go in love and go in faith. leave the day behind us. Day is done, so go in grace. Let us go into the dark, not afraid, not afraid, not alone, not alone. Let us hope, by some good pleasure, safely to arrive at home. Let us hope, by some good pleasure, safely to arrive at home. Thank you all. Please join us for food across the way. Carry this message with you in your hearts over the year. Come see us at the House of Prayer, the Interfaith Center. Talk to me about Interfaith Choir. Let's go party. Have a great evening.